Yeah. Yeah. David Pakman kind of blows. Like, David Pakman, I watched, he's just like a fucking kind of shitty liberal. He talks about the stupidest stuff. Like, oh, Donald Trump shits himself, or Donald Trump Donald Trump said he mistyped a word on Twitter. Isn't he a fucking idiot? And then with the whole Israel stuff, it's been absolutely atrocious. Like, look at this. David Pakman's experience with left-wing purity tests reminds me of someone. Interesting segment where David explains his opinion on why these purity tests happen and how it hurts the movement. So it's like, I mean, bro, the fucking H3 crowd is reaching for any kind of branch they can find to, for some kind of like feeling of getting supported. This is like word for word the type of shit Ethan is experiencing. I hope he sees this. He just posted it to his Insta. Why hasn't Pakman been on H3? Okay, let's play
Whatever,
a little bit of
as
this.
if being imperfect disqualifies you completely. This is personal too, by the way. I've spoken out strongly.
Okay, so I just have to step in immediately. He says being imperfect disqualifies you completely. That's completely, like, that's obviously not true. He's just up in his feelings because he's being criticized for something valid. I mean, listen, if people will say, I want free housing or whatever, that's like a leftist position. I want universal housing for people. And then someone else is like, well, I don't know if it should be like a universal housing, but I think the government should invest heavily in building housing and increasing the supply of houses. That's not going to preclude you from being in a leftist circle. You're not going to get kicked out of your DSA group or banned from your Discord server. It's like, these people are fucking stupid. The thing they're talking about is, oh, I'm imperfect. I just support Israel as being an ethno-state, and people don't like that. It's like, bro, people are criticizing you not because your support for Palestine is imperfect, but because you support Israel as an ethno-state. Like, that's what anyone who says Israel has a right to defend itself does support Israel as an ethno-state. That's why people are criticizing Bernie Sanders too, because even though he's willing to criticize the genocide that they're doing, which is great, like, I actually don't even know if he's called it a genocide, but he's willing to say that they need to like stop funding Israel because they're doing war crimes. Like, that's a bare minimum. That's great that he's saying that, but he can still be criticized because he supports Israel as an ethno-state, because he's like, Israel has the right to defend itself. And it doesn't have a right to defend itself against a group of people that it's occupying. Like, it should just give those people equal rights as Israeli citizens. But people that don't say Palestinians should have the same rights as Israeli citizens and have like a unified government, people that don't say that support an ethno-state. Like, Ethan Klein literally says, if we give Palestinians the same rights as Israelis and they're like citizens of Israel, then they're going to do pogroms against Jews because the Jews aren't going to have the majority. So it's literally the mentality of, if we can't oppress you, you're going to oppress us. That was an argument to keep slaves in the fucking in the Civil War era. Like, we have to keep black people enslaved, because if we don't keep them enslaved, they're going to get freedom and do pogroms against the white people. It's ridiculous. Bro looks like he ate Nutella straight off the jar. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god, that was actually funny. Okay, what is this purity test?
Of an independent Palestinian state.
Oh wow, I didn't even know he was talking about Israel and Palestine in this circumstance. I thought he was going to be talking about like trans issues or something. No, he's literally talking about one state versus two state solution. I might be imperfect, but that doesn't mean that I should be precluded entirely because I'm in favor of an ethno-state.
Whatever, as if being imperfect disqualifies you completely. This is personal too, by the way. I've spoken out strongly in favor of an independent Palestinian state, against Israeli settlements, against Benjamin Netanyahu. But I've also said I don't support the BDS movement. I don't support calling.
Why? What? Why would you not support the BDS movement? Oh my God, bro. Hila Klein would definitely have owned slaves. That was a comment for people that might clip me. That was a commenter saying that. I did not say that. I'm not saying that, but I did not say that.
For the elimination of Israel. I don't support those things, but I support all.
Yeah, so he's literally saying, I support Israel as an ethno-state. Why aren't people sucking my cock off? It's because you support Israel as an ethno-state.
The other stuff I just mentioned. You all know, I've had people say I'm not part of the real left. I'm actually a right-winger with my beliefs.
Yes, because you support this isn't like, oh, I'm 99% of the way there. You just don't like that 1%. It's like, nah, bro, like the ethno state is like 90% of it. That's what we're seeing. The genocide that's happening, that's like the extra 10% of fervor and bloodthirsty frothed upness that got triggered by October 7th. That's like the tip of the iceberg that we're seeing, and that's the genocide. The rest of the issue is the ethno state. That's the issue. And you're ignoring the issue in favor of being like, well, I don't like this one tip that's directly caused by the thing I'm supporting. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Is he really this is so stupid. And I'm gonna get this on a rant, but it's like it's these fucking people. They're like, I want an independent Palestine. Israel says Palestine is independent right now. We just control everything about it, but it's independent. Don't worry, it's independent. So are you going to be in favor of like a BDS movement if Israel violates Palestine's independency? Are you going to be in favor of resettling all of the settlers in the West Bank and resettling people so that you can have a contiguous border between Gaza and the West Bank? So it's not like a country split in half by another country. Are you going to be in favor of that? Why don't you just give Palestinians equal rights? Oh, I know. Because you're a fucking ethno-state enthusiast. Oh, does he say that it's like, I'm 90% of the way there? I mean, the only reason I said that is because Ethan Klein says that all the time.
I've been excluded by people whose views I mostly share because I only signed off on 92%, not 100% of what they believe. So why does this happen? This is the critical part.
According to David Pakman, the 8%. We just disagree on 8% of things, and that 8% is the ethno-state of Israel.
I just finished reading the book The Status Game by Will Storr. And in the book, he explains that a lot of this behavior...
Bro, I can't get the fucking Nutella comment out of my mind. Bro looks like he ate Nutella straight out of the jar. It's so accurate.
...is about how people try to gain status in their communities. And in many left-wing spaces, the way to earn status is
virtue signaling.
Pure. This is where the phrase purity test comes from. By proving you're the most principled, you're the most correct, you're the most uncompromising, you're the most left-wing. And Storr leans on the work of Jason Manning and Bradley Campbell, who describe...
David, do you want to talk about the 8% that you disagree with? Because this is really affecting you a lot, right? You lost subscribers in October 7th. I mean, you said you've lost subscribers since then. And you're like, I'm happy that I lost subscribers. Do you want to talk about the 8% that you disagree with the left on? Like, what are you doing? You're like, I only disagree with 8% of things with the left. And they don't like me because why? They want to prove they're the most super leftist in the entire Discord server? Isn't it weird how those who always talk about performative activism tend to do it the most? Why is he acting like he's getting tomatoes thrown at him in the town square every single day? Because he knows he's wrong about the issue of Israel and Palestine, and he just can't stand it. Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, but honestly, watched 81 seconds and then I'm about done.
Describe a shift in what they call a victimhood culture. In that culture, status comes from being seen as a victim or defending victims more strongly than anybody else does. And when that's the game, what you end up with is people constantly calling each other out, not just to make things better, but to prove their own virtue.
This guy just said defending victims strongly is not making someone better, but to prove your own virtue. What are you talking about? Are you saying you're fine with Palestinians getting genocided a little bit? He literally just said people that are calling other people out for not defending victims strongly enough, or saying I'm defending victims the most strongly, is doing it to virtue signal instead of actually like making someone's lives. No, I think if they're saying you're not defending a victim, they're trying, like, if you're not defending a victim sufficiently, they're trying to defend the victim better. Oh my God, I fucking hate this shit.
Points.
Oh no, I can't be against genocide because I'm getting yelled at online. Why can't you let me be against genocide? Just let me be against genocide. Oh my God. Bro, this motherfucker doesn't even believe it's a genocide. Same with Ethan Klein. He thinks it's a war. David Pakman and Ethan Klein don't even think this is a genocide. Yeah, he's projecting his lack of empathy. That's exactly it.
Because they are the ones doing the calling out. So what ends up is that instead of building coalitions, the left ends up...
I mean, bro, it's just a complete lack of self-awareness. It's like, I'm getting called out by someone. It can't be an issue with me, so it must be them that's the problem. Because, I mean, bro, you already said you aren't, like, you already said there's a tangible difference between you and the people that are apparently calling you out, right? You said you're only 92% of the way there. So you disagree with the people, and they're calling you out on the shit that they disagree with you on. So why are you saying that they're just doing that performatively rather than being like, oh, maybe that 8% that I have a difference with them on actually has tangible real world consequences, and the policies that I'm like, that I'm talking about, that I'm informing my audience with aren't that good because they're getting criticized. No, I'm going to ignore all of the criticisms and just say they're being performative and they're virtue signaling and they're trying to be the biggest victims, or they're trying to be the biggest defenders of victims. You literally are saying that the people calling you out are defending victims more than you are. That makes you a shitty person. Like, that means you could do better. You're admitting in this that you could do better.
Policing its own ranks. The right rewards loyalty, and the left often rewards purity.
Dude, shut the fuck up. The right is all about purity. What the fuck are you saying? What? Donald Trump's literally like suing people that are saying that he lost the election in 2020. That's all performative loyalty. This guy has no idea what he's talking about.
And that difference is showing up at the ballot box. If we want to win, we have to stop turning minor disagreements into disqualifications.
It's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in the entirety of the internet. And it's a talking point that gets repeated a lot. Oh, the left infights, the left infights, the left is not letting me be against genocide, the left isn't letting me vote for Kamala Harris, and we're losing. Shut the fuck up. You have nothing, like nothing of value has been said at all in this.
Because then we'll just keep losing. If you don't build the tent, grow the tent, you shrink it, and then you...
Like, oh my God, these people have actual brain rot. Like, nothing that he's saying has any basis in reality whatsoever. Kamala Harris was running. It wasn't Hassan. It wasn't Vosh. It wasn't Kyle Kalinske. It wasn't Sam Cedar or Emma Vigeland. It wasn't a leftist that was running. It was Kamala Harris that was running. So when you say you have to build the tent, you have to grow the tent, are you talking about Hassan growing the tent? Because he did. He got a lot of more viewers. Like, he's been increasing his audience and his size. Or are you talking about the candidate that ran? Is it the candidate or the left? Are you saying that the left needs to grow its tent so they can vote for shitty liberal candidates? Maybe the shitty liberal candidate shouldn't have been such a shitty liberal candidate and grown their tent to incorporate leftist policies so that they could get more leftists to come out and vote for them. One of the stupidest fucking, like, this guy talks about politics for a living, and this is why I was saying that his politics are fucking dumb. He talks about Donald Trump like misspelling things. He was one of the guys that was like, oh, he says Kofefe. Like, this is David Pakman's politics. Trump stubs his toe as he walks out. Oh, look, he slipped on the golf course and landed on his back. That's the type of shit he does. And that's why when Trump won the election, he had a massive drop in subscribers because people are like, fuck you, I'm not watching your shit anymore. And people that actually talk about real politics and substance, like Kyle Kalinske, has had a massive uptick in followers. Because he's not just all performative bullshit that goes off of optics. Oh, the left isn't letting me vote for Kamala Harris. It's not letting me be against genocide.
Lose power. And there's this idea that if you let more people in who aren't pure, you actually shrink the tent when in reality you're growing it. So I would like to see it.
Like, what? I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. There is an idea. All right, I'm just going to picture, like, I'm just going to use the example of like a leftist on Twitter that's like, oh, you're not David Pakman's, someone that criticizes Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says Israel has a right to defend himself. Fuck him. Okay, that's like a TikToker or something. A TikToker has the idea that if they let Bernie Sanders into the left coalition, they don't criticize Bernie Sanders. They have the idea that that's going to shrink. So if they don't criticize Bernie Sanders, that's going to shrink the left coalition and lose elections. Nothing of that makes any sense. What coalition is he talking about? How is the Twitter group or the person that I don't even know what he's talking about. They're like, he's in his own little world right now. If you want to criticize, if you criticize someone, the point of criticizing them is to show that their idea is wrong and try to get other people and even potentially the person you're criticizing to change their ideas on that issue you're criticizing. That's the point. It's called public discourse. Like, criticizing someone isn't gatekeeping, right? Like, when we're talking about elections, when you're talking about elections, that's completely different than online discourse. You have to think of it in a new way. Like, that's a completely different scenario when you're like, someone criticized Bernie Sanders and then leftists aren't gonna vote for him because he was criticized by Hassan. But actually, Hassan should just let Hassan shouldn't criticize Bernie Sanders at all, and he should lie to his audience and say that Bernie Sanders is actually not against. Don't even talk about the genocide that's happening in Gaza.
Go differently. The next couple of election cycles, pure. This idea that if you let more people in who aren't pure, you actually shrink the tent when in reality you're growing it. So I would like to see it go differently the next couple of election cycles, and let's see if it makes a difference.
Yeah, that's really stupid. He's basically saying you should, like, leftists that are critical of Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and people like that, don't talk about your disagreements with them. Because if you talk about their disagreements with them, then you're causing your people to not vote for them. Even though, like, basically just lie to your audience, which is what Pakman does. This is like word for word the type of shit. Yeah, he's just saying, like, do Democratic Party propaganda, and we know that doesn't work because that's what Kamala Harris did, and they lost because of the Democratic Party propaganda, not because of the criticisms of the Democrats. Pakman has a great way of articulating his points while staying calm and concise. I would say while saying nothing. This has gotten so much worse as the years pass, and no one can pass these arbitrary purity tests because they keep changing. Like, what the fuck is this person talking about? The right wing is more than happy to accept anyone with any flaws, along with, no. Like, this is the thing, guys. Conservatives they're happy to accept people with flaws. They don't consider like being a rapist a flaw. They consider that a benefit. And the issue is the right wingers do purity testing all the time, but they don't care if you're like a rapist or a domestic abuser. All they care is that you say the right things and you like put on the MAGA hat at the end of the day. That's all they really care about. I'm optimistically thinking that Trump's second win has shocked the left to reevaluate some of these toxic practices. What are the toxic practices? This is what I don't understand. Are they just saying like criticizing politicians for doing shitty things and not being a Democratic Party propagandist and like lying to your audience? Are they saying that they're basically saying having a spine and speaking up for what you believe in and like the policies that you believe are true and correct and moral, that's ruining elections. You should stop doing that. Just be a fucking propagandist and suck off Joe Biden, suck off Kamala Harris. Don't advocate for any actual kind of change at all, because any kind of criticism at all to the Democratic Party is detracting from the tent that you could potentially use and just like submit at the foot of Kamala Harris as she's trying to run in the election. So stupid.